Hi guys, today we have a special video for my gamer followers where we'll talk about the pros and cons of gaming and comparing it to trading and how does it actually pair with it. Okay, well, I think this will be an interesting video. It will probably have some controversial points. I would like to have an outline of pros and cons in how exactly does gaming and more specifically how exactly does League of Legends compare with trading. What are the pros and what are the cons? Okay, so we will talk about pros and cons based on a let's say friendship between trading and League of Legends. So both pros and cons will be applied to both the stances, right? So we will talk about pros in both League of Legends and trading, and cons in both League of Legends and trading, right? So I think it's a misconception that gaming is completely useless. I am coming from a gaming background. I think I have played games for my whole life right now. It's been quite a lot of time. I think I was 6 or 7 when I had my first PC with Windows 95. You can see from my icon that actually the icon of my channel is created by me in Paint. So it has a Windows 95 and a diskette there. I was literally playing Bomberman or whatever was the game back then. Some things where you were shooting something in the air, chicken invasion and whatnot. So I was playing video games since I was 6 or something like that. I think my first cool game for cool kids that I started playing was Heroes 3 when I was around 8 or 9. And it was the first game that I literally played 8 hours in a row when I was a kid. And I think that's where my addiction actually started, when I started playing Heroes 3. It was a strategy game, obviously, so that was interesting because I was always drawn to this type of games where you would have to have a strategy. You would have to like find out how to win games and whatnot, how to beat others. I was quite a competitive kid, and I'm quite a competitive adult now. And I think this is one. And let's start it from here. So this is one of the things that this is a pro, right? So let's have it written with wait a second. So competitive, let's say, spirit, right? So the first pro that I want to talk about is being competitive. I think this is very important because in trading, when you are going into trading, no matter if you're a new guy into trading or if you're a veteran or if you're experienced or whatnot, you are going against the best. Okay, so this is not debatable. You're going against the best. If you're not going to do well, if you're not going to stick to your process, your plan and whatnot, you will lose. Okay, your money will go to the people that are disciplined. Your money will go to the people that have more experience, that trade better, that manage better, that risk less or risk properly, wager properly, and so on. And both in same in League of Legends, you're competitive, right? You're going into a like, let's go back to the Heroes 3 analogy. I was playing when I was just a kid, obviously not online. I don't think it was online back then. It was just single player. But listen, I wasn't playing on the hardest levels, right? I think right now you could have played on King or whatnot, if you remember these things where you choose the difficulty level. I was like low to middle difficulty, and sometimes I was losing, right? So even if you're not playing against against other human beings. It's still hard, right? It's still, it brings the competitive spirit inside of you. It brings it out, and that's one thing that is good, and it's a pro in both. It's just that you have to have that competitive spirit, right? And in games, you have to actually make yourself go harder, go find other ways to win, and so on. I think this is a very good thing, and it also helps you in trading. Okay, when I stopped playing Heroes 3, not necessarily when I stopped, but I grew up, right? At some point, you just grow up, and I started playing multiplayer. I think my first multiplayer game was, let me think. I think it was Diablo 2, Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. The thing with this is that, as you know, it's an ARPG, so action RPG. You don't actually PvP too much, but there were PvP matches back then. I remember I was playing Paladin or something like that, a smiter, and I was always using life tap, for example, for whoever knows, which is prohibited in dueling. I was just a kid. I didn't know anything. I was just a kid. I wouldn't know much, and so. Starting from Heroes 3, that was a single player, then to Diablo 2, and then to League of Legends. I think I started playing in 2009. I'm not really playing it anymore now. You are transcending, right? So you're adapting whenever you are changing games, or whenever you are trying to get better at the game, right? So for example, in order to get high rank in League of Legends, which I did, I actually was challenger in season 9, and I was challenger and grandmaster in a lot of seasons when I was playing. I think that you have to adapt a lot. Okay, you have to adapt a lot to, for example, patches. You have to keep it. Let's think about it like this. If you have 2 patches in a row where everything changes seasonally in League of Legends, you are going to have the same thing happening in trading, where maybe news or the fact that I don't know, there is a recession or whatnot, it will make your trading be different, because the same tactic probably won't work. Okay, actually, maybe if you're trading price action, it will still work, because price action is price action no matter what. But a lot of people are systematic traders, right? And so you have to adapt. You have to adapt when you see you have too much drawdown. You have to adapt. And when you see that your champion doesn't work anymore in League of Legends, or it's nerfed or whatnot, or the meta, the patches made it so the meta, the champions in the meta are very strong against yours, and you literally can't play anymore with a good win rate, or you can't output enough damage or whatnot, you will have to probably pick up another champion, right? So this is another pro. Everything in competitive games and in trading makes you adapt. Okay, so adaptability. You have to start adapting. You have to start seeing what works now. What do I need to change about myself, about my tactic, in order to increase my win rate, or to increase my wins, or to keep myself consistent. And since we got to consistency, I would like to talk about consistency in both trading and League of Legends, for example. So let's say you are playing a game, and you are doing, I don't know, let's just say you're having 9 CS per minute. For whoever doesn't know what CS means, it's creep score. So you're killing a minion in your lane, right? So there are 3 lanes, you're killing minions in your lanes, and you are averaging 9 minions per minute, and you're doing it game after game. That is consistency, okay? Same with trading. Let's say you are losing 2 trades of 1% or 0.5%, but you're winning a trade of 4%, and it keeps going, right? So it's 2% loss, 4% win, 2% loss, 4% win. Obviously, it won't ever be like that 24/7, but let's just keep in mind, just to explain, just to extrapolate what consistency would mean in my head. Now, think about it like this. Let's say in League of Legends, you are underperforming, and in 3 out of the next 5 games, you're not averaging 9 CS per minute anymore, but you're averaging 6. Now, you're in the place where your consistency has lowered, and so this means that you will probably feel it in the win rate, either that, or you will fall behind against your enemies, and you will have to cheese your way through the game, through winning the game, through getting kills, okay, which is pretty hard to do, especially once you get better and better and you're playing higher level. getting kills is harder, okay? Getting kills in lane, getting kills with your jungler and whatnot in League of Legends, it will be harder, which means that you are having more randomness in your game. So this is what consistency is for me. In my opinion, consistency is literally the cure to randomness. Once you are consistent with something, you are basically lowering the chance of random actions or let's say random events in your environment to lower your win rate or lower your output. Okay, so here in trading is the exact same thing. You are against the fact that you have to be consistent. You have to lose your trades properly. So lose a certain amount. Don't over leverage and so on. Be consistent. Okay, be consistent with your losses. Be consistent with your wins, especially with your losses. So consistency is a very important factor in both League of Legends and trading, and it shows that once you are consistent somewhere, you are probably going to extrapolate it in something else. So for example, if you're coming from League of Legends and you're trying to trade, you understand the concept of consistency, that you have to have an output, to be performant, okay, to have a process. And let's just go into the process quickly. Let's just say process or plan. Okay, you already know how important it is in trading to have a plan. Okay, so when you're going to do a trade, you want to have a plan. Okay, I will take my trade off at said level. I will compound my trade at said level. I will go out of the trade at said level. I will not trade weekends and so on, right? In League of Legends, it's exactly the same. So you're going into a ranked game and you're saying, okay, I will not pick this champion if I see on the enemy team that, for example, everybody is, I don't know, bruiser, and I want to play AD mid. It's gonna be hard, right? It's gonna be very hard to do that because you're going to die a lot. That means that you have to have a plan, right? So planning is very important in both League of Legends and trading. Now, we have competitive spirit, adaptability, consistency, planning. I think something that only higher elo players will understand in League of Legends is that you have to play defensively aggressive. Let me explain how this works and why this is important in trading. This is a concept that I haven't really heard anybody talking about, but especially in trading. But I think that it is something that once you get better and better at something, whether it be trading or League of Legends or any game, I think you learn to play defensively aggressive way better. Let me explain. Let's say you're playing against a great player on mid lane in League of Legends, and you are also a great player, obviously. You will probably focus on the basics. Okay, you will CS, you will poke, you will so on, you will evade ganks, you will help your jungler, you will go for the objectives and so on. This means that you are playing smart and you're playing defensive because you're not just throwing you're not using your mana randomly to poke in situations where you know that it is lower probability to poke the enemy. You know that you shouldn't probably push the waves all the time because you'll get ganked and so on. This is defensive aggressive because you know that at some point you will have a opportunity to go aggressive, to take a kill, to push a tower, to get some plates from enemy towers and so on, right? So this is playing defensively aggressive. You know that there are certain times where you can push your advantage. That means that you are aggressive. You know the fact that there are moments when you can be aggressive, but you're playing defensive and you're sticking to the basics most of the time. This is happening in trading all the time and nobody understands this properly. You are playing defensive at all times. You are respecting your risk. You are putting your plans into action by wagering on your ideas, like I explained before. So you are risking a certain percent in order to probably win more. That's the obvious outcome that you would like. But so you're playing defensive in the sense that you are risking properly, you are trade managing, you are de-risking and so on, but you know that once there is a trade that works in your favor, you're compounding, right? So you're going aggressive, but you're sticking to the basics, right? So you're sticking to not risking too much, to not losing too much, to trade and to managing your trade, to checking the time on your trade. So maybe it's the time horizon is too much or too low, or maybe it's a weekend trade, or maybe it's a news trade, and so on, right? So you're playing defensive, but when you know that the time is right, the time is ripe, you are going aggressive on your trade. So the defensive aggressiveness, I think this is not talked about enough. It's extremely important, and I like this term a lot. And then let's think about something else. What other pros can we find comparing trading and League of Legends together? I think that sticking to the process is very important in both of them. What am I talking about? Is that let's say you are playing 5v5, right? In trading, you're playing one against one indefinitely, so infinitely 1 versus 1. Maybe you're playing against institutions even, so we're not even going to get into that. But the fact is that in a team of 5 in League of Legends, 4 can play extremely bad and 1 yourself can play decent, not even good. And at that point, you will tilt, probably. At some point you will tilt, or maybe you lose 5 in a row and you will tilt because you expected that since you are playing decently, you would probably not lose 5 in a row. And it's obvious, it happens. I think I was tilting way more back then when I was younger, but now I understood that this is just a part of probability. You can lose 10 in a row and then you can win 20 in a row, right? It's a part of probability. And I think this is important to understand, that both probability, which happens in League of Legends, also happens in trading, okay? So you can have a bad streak of trades where you're losing a lot. You can have bad streak of entries. You can have I don't know, a bad streak of days where you're not feeling so well, and so on. And this is something that should always be tackled. Avoid getting tilted. You should not think about how to solve my tilt when I'm inside the actual tilt, when I'm inside the loss streak, okay? Both in League of Legends, both in the game of League of Legends, but let's just think about a streak of losses in both League of Legends and trading, okay? Because this is more important. Then I'll actually get more granular and I talk about individual trades and individual games. So, and they're also important, but let's say a loss streak. Listen, it's normal. You have to think about it this way. It's a streak of losses, a streak of lost trades, a streak of losses in games in League of Legends. It's normal. It's probability. At some point, it just happens. Who cares? It doesn't matter, okay? Because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, you are the exact same player. You're actually progressing because you're actually seeing more sides of your own personality and your mentality. And you should think about it like this. I'm progressing. I'm getting better. I don't care if I lose 5 in a row or 10 in a row, because I know that I have an edge. I'm a good player in League of Legends. I push my lane properly. I push my adventures properly. My macro is better. In trading, I know that my trades are extremely good. When they are good, I'm pushing them with compounds and so on. So listen, avoid getting tilted. Tilt is the worst thing you can do, because it takes away from your energy, it takes away from your mental sanity and capacity, it takes away from your emotional emotional luggage, and so avoid getting tilted. Let's put it like this: avoid tilt, right? And so I talked about a streak loss, a loss streak. Sorry. Let's stack individually, and this is about process. Individual trades can also tilt you. And this is where tilt comes from. A string of losses coming from individual trades that you expected something of. Okay, so you expected something out of a string of trades, and when they are all losses, you are actually getting tilted. Guys, listen, it's process driven. Everything is process driven. You're going into a game of League of Legends. You're losing it when you are literally the only one playing well. It doesn't matter. You can't expect winning all the game. Like, there's a game, there will be a game, 2 games, 3 games in a row where you're literally playing your best game. You're 10-0 and everybody else is inting and you're losing. But your process is the same. You're doing great. This means that your process is the same. So that's fine. Your process is the same. Your outcome can vary. It doesn't matter. Same in trading. Listen, I'm doing my best today. I'm doing my best tomorrow. I'm doing my best this week. And at the end of the week, I'm minus 2% or 1%. What do you want me to do? You want me to what? To get my head and push it on the ground until I bleed? It doesn't matter, right? Listen. This is process. This is you're a performance athlete in everything you do in life. Stop thinking about individual trades or individual games as your end all be all. Okay, you're listening to your process. You're doing what you know that it has to be done every trade or every game, and at the end of the day, you do not have anything to say. You don't have anything to say regarding the outcome. Don't have expectations anymore. This literally kills. Is the killer of the joy of life. Just don't have expectations of outcomes. Okay, so we've talked a lot about pros. Let's actually go to the cons. I think there are some cons as well. I think there are some important cons, but I think we should focus on a few of them. I think that it's very important to keep in mind that both games, so actually trading is also a game, but games and trading, they're both like, they are very uncertain. So human beings don't really have the best of agendas when they're going into uncertainty. So you don't know what's going to happen in the next trade. You don't know what's going to happen in your next game. So at this point, I think this is the first con, where you're actually going to fight against uncertainty. Okay, this is something that human beings aren't really good at. So human beings aren't really made to tackle uncertainty. Human beings aren't really that good at I don't know, understanding that you don't really have the power to stabilize the outcome. You don't really have to. You can't really do anything about. Okay, you can do your best in a game. You can do your best in a trade, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to lose the trade. It doesn't mean that when you're getting a good entry into a trade, you're not going to lose the trade. Maybe you're going to lose the trade. You're getting the best entry of your life and you're going to lose the trade. And when you're going into a trade with the shittiest entry of your life, you're going to win big. This is uncertainty. Okay, this is uncertainty in games where you are picking your best champion in your best matchup, you're going 10-0 and you're losing the game, or you are taking the best trade of your life and you're losing the trade and you're losing big. Hopefully not big. Okay. So this is uncertainty. Human beings are are known to not know exactly what to do with uncertainty, and this is something that you have to progress. You have to understand that you have to acknowledge what uncertainty means. Okay, you have to understand that uncertainty is there and it will always be. How do I react to uncertainty? That is what you have to think about. Not oh, I hope we win. I hope this trade goes well. I hope. No. You have to understand that uncertainty is there. How do I risk properly? How do I manage my trade properly? How do I understand in game that I just have to CS and stick to basics and do my best in order to win the game? That's it. Literally, that's it. Then I think something really important is time horizon. Okay, so I think that sometimes sitting at a PC, we don't really understand how much time we're actually wasting on this. But on both trading and games, you have to put in a lot of time in order to be good at. Okay, this time can mean nothing. So, for example, you're a guy that plays games. You're a high-level player around the Grandmaster to Challenger on whatever big region you want, and you're trying to go semi-pro. It might never happen. Even if you're wasting a lot of your time and the effort and you're actually going hard, it might never happen. No matter how good you are, at some point there are just better players than you. It's same. It's exactly the same in trading. I'm wasting 10 hours per day charting and doing trades and whatnot and journaling. You can do this for 2 years and literally have maybe even negative outcomes, right? Because you need either a lot of time, or you are still missing some skills in order to go to the next level. So This is something that we have to touch on, because you have to understand that no matter how much effort and time you put in, it might just mean that sometimes it could not happen for you. So you can literally waste 5 years of your life and not make it in trading. It's a possibility. It's a reality. You can't literally delude yourself for your whole life that you're going to be a pro player in League of Legends. Okay? If you're playing for 5 years and you're not a semi-pro player, it might just never happen to you, right? So this is something that you have to keep in mind, where time horizon is very important. You have to understand how much time you can allocate to certain things in your life. So uncertainty and time horizon, I think these are the two most important ones. I think that I would like to touch upon the fact that both games and trading will affect you and the people around you, and you will have to also do some sacrifices in order to actually do well in both of these endeavors. So let's say sacrifices first. Okay, you have to sacrifice if it either time with your friends, going out, when you're trying to do something different, something extraordinary compared to the people around you, you will understand that you will have to give them less time. You have to understand that due to the fact that you think differently, due to the fact that you do things differently in your life, people will see you with different eyes. Okay, so you will probably be a outlier sooner or later, or sometimes. And so this is something normal. You have to think about it as something that it happens. It's normal. You have to you just have to blend into it. Okay, this is your new personality, and you have to do as much as you can in order to stick to your process and to your goals. After sacrifices, I think I wanted to discuss about the fact that these endeavors will take a lot from the people around you. Okay, so let's say it will like how can we put this into words? It will affect your reality. Okay, let's just put it like that. So both trading and playing games will affect your reality. So you will think differently about the world around you. You will probably cope less with bullshit when you are talking with people, when you are doing stuff in your day-to-day life. You will sometimes maybe even be too angry about the fact that you lost too many trades in a row, or your teammates are trash at League of Legends, even though this makes no sense, right? But this just gets to you at some point where you're not even saying, it just happens to you, where you're just getting affected by the stuff that happened to you in basically even trading. It's a virtual world. It's something that doesn't really exist right here, right now, even though you know that it's there on your screen, in your account, in your whatever. It doesn't really pair with whatever is happening here, right? It doesn't pair with whatever is happening here. This is reality. This is something that you're staying with your wife, you're watching a movie. You will at some point get affected about the fact that you lost your 4th trade in a row, or you were outside with your friends, and then the chart goes down when we're not expecting it, and you're like, maybe if I wouldn't have went out, I would have done something about it. It's obviously something that is probably untrue, but our brains are actually always finding excuses to why we're doing this and that, and why it will always sabotage you. Okay, and this is something that I try to work around every day, and to understand that your brain is not supposed to fight uncertainty. This is basically how you're getting affected in your reality. When you are working with uncertainty and you're getting to an actual high level of combating this uncertainty level in both trading and League of Legends and whatever you're doing in life, actually, you will find out that you will get to the point when you will understand that your brain is not made for this, and you will have to actively remind yourself about the fact that listen, everything is possible. Everything is possible in everything you do, and so you shouldn't be affected too much. You should just stick to your guns, do your best, do as much as you can, and try to share to the people around you only the good side of your emotions. Okay, because especially trading is probably one of the hardest things to do emotionally, and so you by the fact that you are being affected, you will probably affect the people around you even without wanting it. And this is something that I have to work on every day. I have to work on not necessarily every day, but every once in a while. And so this is something that everybody has to progress on and to continue working in improving in order for keeping stable emotions during trading and life itself. To be honest, I think this is enough for this video. I actually enjoyed doing it, and I think it will bring some value to some of you, and I think it will bring some perspective, and that's what I'm here for, to bring some perspective. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.